welcome to Think Big with Dan and Qasim. And our guest today is Bailey. So, Bailey, if you want to go ahead and introduce yourself and tell our audience a little bit more about what you do.
All right, for sure. So I am Bailey. I am a holistic nutritionist and I help basically everybody, live this low toxic lifestyle by educating them to, feel better and healthy.
Awesome. So, how did you kind of get into, being in this industry? Like, what made you made this? Have you always been doing this, or what kind of made you make this pivot, like in your career?
Yeah, so I originally was in the fitness industry and I loved it. It was great. It really, changed my life. And then as time went on, I kind of started to notice maybe more of the negative, things of it. And I was like, all right, I got to change something, not only for myself, but for my clients, because something is just not right. And once I kind of did that and changed, my mindset, it really changed a lot for me just with working with clients and kind of the path that I was going on. It definitely changed, which was a lot of fun and a lot of learning for sure.
No, that's cool. Yeah. So, I guess what were you doing? So, you were in the fitness industry before. Like, what exactly like, were you doing? Were you doing personal training, or like what specifically was your role before starting and this company and what you're doing now?
So I definitely was personal training. That's kind of how I started out. And then I think really Instagram kind of gave me more opportunities where I was working with different supplement companies and doing these big fitness expos like the Arnold and Olympia and meeting all these new people and networking. And it was a lot of fun. I'm not going to lie, but I definitely can see, where things needed a change. And that's kind of where I turned the corner.
Awesome. So, you mentioned Instagram. Is that where most people are finding you now, or how do you get most of your current clients?
So it used to be a lot of Instagram. I would say, I feel like currently I'm shadow banned a lot of the time. So it is difficult through Instagram, but that is mainly where I get a lot of my clients or just word of mouth or just kind of talking to people. Sometimes even at the gym, someone will be like, hey, I really like that workout. And then we kind of connect and network that way.
So, in terms of shadow banning, I actually have not heard anybody on our podcast mention that. So, I guess if you can kind of explain like, a little bit more about like what that exactly means and like what that looks like for your brand.
For sure. I would say things definitely have gotten difficult because I maybe post controversial topics in the health industry where some of the, information that I am giving out to people just on Instagram, they don't like and they don't want people to know about. So it definitely blocks the number of people that can see certain things, which gets frustrating because I'm, putting out all this great information for people because I want to make everyone healthy and feel really good from the inside out. So it definitely gets frustrating that, that happens.
So, going around Instagram, like what other channels are you using? You mentioned people in person, but are you posting on YouTube or other platforms? I think it's like so many platforms are kind of pushing the shadow ban, but it's like where like what are you doing to try and get around that in terms of technology, I guess?
I sometimes I've tried like different apps or have gotten different apps. Like I think one was called like Lemonade. So there it's similar to Instagram. Are people posting that often on there? I don't know. And then they have that new threads. So I've been trying on there, which is similar to Twitter. I do try Facebook every now and again, but I just kind of really hope that Instagram gets the word out. I haven't done YouTube. I've tried or like gotten into it, but I have not been consistent enough with it. But that's probably another great platform, especially, putting out information, education, and things like that.
By the way, in this case, how are you taking care of your mental health?
Sometimes I do have to take some breaks for sure. I would say recently I kind of taken a break where I haven't posted as often. And I know that definitely can affect, you know, how many people you're reaching, but sometimes you just have to do it because people can be mean. People can be really mean on there, and it definitely becomes, you know, a lot. And sometimes you're just like, I need that break for sure. And it definitely helps mentally for sure. And I feel like there's so much information on the internet that, you know, is who's right, who's wrong. So for sure, taking breaks, I think definitely helps.
Yeah, so I guess like in terms of your business and your brand, like what are your goals like for the next like 6 or 12 months? Like, are you planning on selling more products like on your website, or I guess like where do you see your brand going?
So I was selling a lot of low toxic products where I'm actually stepping back and away from that and kind of in this transition right now where deciding like where I want my brand to go. It's definitely geared more towards, you know, holistic health and more nutrition versus kind of the workouts and stuff like that now. Where it's more on the counseling. So where I'm meeting with someone who maybe they have diabetes and we are going to go through and kind of work, you know, them to not have that anymore through diet. And, you know, obviously I throw in a little exercise and stuff like that for them, but mainly kind of going over what they're eating, what they're putting in their body and stuff like that. And that's kind of like the gist of the brand is really just functional nutrition, understanding ingredients versus kind of all the other things that I've been doing, you know, and I kind of feel like it gets tricky, especially when you own a business or you're trying to go in certain directions and like something doesn't work out as you plan. So you take that step back, which I've had to do. But it's definitely a great learning curve, a good experience for sure.
Yeah, I think in the fitness space, what I've noticed what can be tricky is because you can only take on so many clients and serve them in a good manner, right? So it's like, in terms of scaling, it's like, I guess, what have you thought about? Because, it's like, once you get to a certain like amount of clients paying you whatever, you only have so many hours in the day, right?
Right. It
So
definitely it gets tricky.
yeah, yeah. So I guess like in terms of scaling, it's like I don't know. I've seen some coaches where they take, coaches like underneath them under their brand or maybe selling more products. Or I guess like have you thought about like any of those things for your brand, like maybe like bring on more coaches, or I guess like in terms of growth?
I've definitely thought about, you know, partnering up and maybe adding somebody else on. It just for me, I don't take on that many clients if I know I can't handle it. Because my goal is to kind of teach you all I know and then, you know, hope that you can do it on your own because I don't want to continually have to see you. So I want you to be better. I want you to be healthy. But for, you know, the way that I coach, the way that I'm educating people in the health world, I feel like someone would really have to kind of align with my views. So that is very tricky for me.
I guess in terms of, just like on average, like how long does somebody see you? So if you have a certain client, are they typically working with you for 3 months, a year, a few years? Like what's like the average amount that somebody works with you?
Typically, well, it depends. I would say mainly my clients are maybe a little longer than a year. I do have some that I've seen and they stay with me for 5+ years. They don't want to leave and they'll text me 24/7 asking me if this is okay to eat or they're confused or where should they go next? Should they try this? Which is great because I've definitely built so many friendships that way too. So it's not like they're just a client, you know, they're like a friend and they're confiding in me and want my advice. So it's really cool, which I like that.
Oh yeah, it's really important. Awesome.
And by the way, everybody makes mistakes as well, especially while doing business. So, what are some mistakes you wish you could have avoided
Ooh.
while building your brand?
Yeah, I definitely would have maybe thought certain things out first instead of like, this is what I want to do, like, and just rush into it. I would definitely say have a like secured plan, really kind of, you know, even if you have to start from kind of where you want to go and then work your way backwards, because certain things, might not be the best idea, even though they sound really good. So sometimes that can be tricky. I definitely think, talking to someone maybe who has done certain things that you want to do can be really helpful as well. Because I've definitely made some mistakes that, even with like branding and my name, I had to change my company name once. So learning those different things and how to make sure you're doing things the right way can definitely be really tricky.
So, by the way, how do you plan the future of your business? And okay, yeah, first tell me this, then I will ask you another thing as well related to this. The future of your business, like.
So the future of my business, I guess for me, it was more so that I started this business just because I am so passionate myself in health and understanding things and kind of doing things like not the way that most people are doing them. So taking a different approach to so many things. I never really thought it would, become anything. It was just I wanted to help people. So I kind of feel that's still my mindset, and just wherever it goes, as long as I'm helping people, that's kind of what makes me happy. I mean, I would definitely love to see this grow into something more within the fitness industry, bringing on more natural health and being a little more open-minded. I feel like sometimes the fitness industry can, not be as welcoming anymore to more of like the natural approaches or the coaches that are on that side of things. So it gets a little frustrating, but that is definitely long term. I would love to be, one of those booths at an expo, kind of educating, on nutrition and ingredients. And here's, the cleaner, better brand.
So you mentioned earlier, say about being canceled, right? So in terms of, do you ever worry like, when you're posting, because I'm sure there's obviously people that see your content and are turned away, but do you ever worry about that at all? Or like, how do you deal with, you mentioned also negativity. I'm sure there's obviously lots of that on social media in general, but like, how do you deal with those types of people?
For sure. That, sometimes, I mean, it's tough, definitely. Usually I delete the comments or I make it where you can't comment on my post at all, which like, isn't the best, because sometimes, there's like those amazing people that want to comment, they want to ask questions. So, you kind of have to decide, is this a post where I'm going to not allow comments and things like that? I was scared for a little bit to lose my page. So certain things like I've backed off on and kind of say it, I guess maybe less is more kind of a thing. So if you want to know more, kind of reach out privately and then we can chat that way, is kind of the new approach I've been taking, because I feel I've worked really hard to, make this page and I wouldn't want to lose it.
Okay. Okay. So by the way, what's the technology role in your business other than Instagram?
So I have a website where I can, push people to go there, and we have like an email. So I use like MailChimp to send out emails and different things, kind of like blog on there every now and again. So that's pretty much like it for now.
Do you think you are lacking somewhere in technology, in terms of technology, anywhere, in any aspect?
I would say technology definitely has changed. I feel like now there's so many platforms, there's so many ways to reach people, which is like a good thing and a bad thing. So it kind of has like, those pros and cons to all of that, which can kind of, I don't know. Like I'm a fan of it to some extent. I feel like, you like the platforms that work well for you, or maybe, you feel you understand the most.
Maybe I can rephrase it like in terms of tech, what are your likes and dislikes? Maybe.
My likes and dislikes in the tech, I would say there's definitely, that freedom of speech is gone on a lot of platforms, so that I don't like, because I feel like it's a really great way for you to express who you are, express your brand or whatever you want to put out there. And you can learn a lot from other people that way for sure. And then, I like that it's something you can use to reach a lot of people if, it works for you. It definitely is hard to navigate through, but once you get it, I think, it's got its good and bad. I would say, a lot of the negative things can be hard on people in general because we're all human. So
Yeah, indeed. Indeed.
Oh yeah. So I
Yeah.
guess so in terms of like your website, do you use Shopify or I guess like how are you selling your products on there?
I do use Shopify and it'll be changing soon. So I did use Shopify and I've had great success. I've used it in the past for other things as well. And I feel like that one is like the most self-explanatory. It's, dummy proof in my opinion. So if I need to quickly change something, it's super convenient. It like will let you know kind of, you have the status of what's going on, which I like. You kind of can see everything, I don't know, right there in front of you. It's easy to use. So I've always used Shopify.
That's cool. Yeah, Shopify is great, but I guess you mentioned that you're changing soon. So I guess like what are you changing to and why are you change or moving away from Shopify?
I don't know. Well, I don't know for sure if I'm going to completely leave Shopify, but I'm not going to be selling any products. Come the end of August, I won't have any products anymore. So I think maybe trying like a different route for websites, unless Shopify offers that. I really haven't looked into that yet. I do have someone that I use that helps me with that kind of stuff, which is extremely helpful because I would say that's probably not like my strong suit.
But in terms of your products, so I guess as of now, are those products that you have that you ship yourself, or is it more like drop shipping? Like, what have you been doing? And I guess like for what, like, are you moving away from it because you have not been selling as much as you would like? Like, I guess like where are you like, what is? I'm just curious, like what like your reasoning is for it.
So why I'm stepping away from all that is because I am very passionate about low toxic brands and I thought it would be an amazing idea to sell them. Come to find out these amazing brands also started selling to Target, Walmart, those larger stores that I can't compete with. And, being that small business, it is tough. It really is. Like you want to be that person people go to, but I just think that kind of that wholesaling is maybe not the best route. I can, say, hey, go to, this store, grab this product. It's great. Or I can give people a coupon code. I have referral links. And I think I've made more doing that versus kind of selling it on my own. But yeah, for now, it's just me shipping it to you.
It's cool. Like what I've seen that has worked for some of our clients is that they kind of do these bundles of certain products where people subscribe and they get it every month. And then we have one client that actually they send like a video, like a free unlocked video. It's like a free feature that people
Yeah.
get of like showing them like how to use the products or whatever. So that's something that I think
Oh,
might work for you, if you want to
yeah,
keep selling products.
for sure. No, that's great. That's definitely helpful.
Yeah, because it's like for us, it's like I think that there are ways that people sell products on their own brand. Because like the biggest thing that I've seen are personal brands because people connect. Like people like want to buy from people, right? Because like you have your
Right.
own brand, people want to buy from you because they know you. Like you mentioned, you have people that work with you for 5+ years, and those things definitely make a huge difference.
Yeah.
So I guess like just to wrap it up, like what advice would you give somebody who is in the fitness space or wants to start their own business? Like how could somebody go about doing kind of what you've done so far?
I would say have the passion, and you gotta love it. You have to literally love what you do and know why you're doing it. Like, is it to, help somebody? Is it because you want to make more money? Is it because you want more freedom? Whatever that is, like, have that in mind. Because I feel like that really helps to kind of drive your business in the right direction if you know why you're doing it.
100%. Like I always say, I'm like, if you love what you're doing, you don't even think about it. It doesn't
Yeah.
even feel like work. Like, we work every day. It's like we don't even think about it because we just enjoy it so much. So
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for your time, Bailey. It was great chatting with you, and yeah, great to chat again. So thank you.
Yeah, you guys.
Thank you. Have a
Thanks,
good rest of
Bailey.
your day.
You
All right.
too.
Bye.
Bye bye.